Good morning, everyone. I hope you're keeping well and that you're keeping safe. Uh, we're just a reminder, midweek is tonight, 7:30 via Zoom. If you haven't got a link and you'd like to join us, you can do that. So do please get in touch with me. Also, just say we might try and record part of the midweek and put that part of it up on YouTube. We'll let you know about that. If it's going to go up, it'll probably go up tomorrow. Also, just a reminder at the moment in particular, and I'm sure you've been doing this, but please continue to pray for all of those working in health and social care, and particularly those working in our hospitals. You've seen the reports in the news, you know the kinds of pressures that people are under in those situations. So do please continue to hold them before God in prayer. It is absolutely vital that we do that just now. I'm going to read from Mark's Gospel again, and from Mark chapter 2. This is Jesus being questioned about fasting. Now John's disciples and the Pharisees were fasting, and people came out and said to him, "Why do John's disciples and the disciples of the Pharisees fast, but your disciples do not fast?" Jesus said to them, "Can the wedding guests fast while the bridegroom is with them? As long as they have the bridegroom with them, they cannot fast. The days will come when the bridegroom is taken away from them, and then they will fast in that day. No one sews a piece of unshrunk cloth on an old garment. If he does, the patch tears away from it, the new from the old, and a worse tear is made. And no one puts new wine into old wineskins. If he does, the wine will burst the skins, and the wine is destroyed, and so are the skins. But new wine is for fresh wineskins." When is it appropriate to fast? That's the question that Jesus is being asked. And why is it that some people, John's disciples, the Pharisees, are fasting and your disciples, Jesus, are not? What's going on? Why do you not think it's appropriate at the moment to do that? The appropriate time to fast is in a time of severe crisis. Many people will have been engaged in fasting of different kinds through this period of the virus, or at a period of mourning and of loss, a period of lament, if you like. Again, something that people will have been doing through this time. Or to fast out of concern for a particular situation, something which is particularly affecting you, and so you choose to fast and to spend time in prayer as a result of that. But when is fasting inappropriate? It's not appropriate to fast when you're a guest at a celebration. It's not appropriate to fast when you should be rejoicing. It's not appropriate to fast when you see God doing amazing and wonderful things in the world. That's not a time to fast. That's a time to feast. That's a time to be glad. That's a time to celebrate. Jesus is clear to the people who ask him the question. This point of history, this point when Jesus is here or is there on earth walking with his disciples, that's not a time to fast. That's a time to celebrate. It's a time to celebrate because God's kingdom has come. God's kingdom has invaded the world. It is there in front of them in the person of Jesus. It's time to celebrate, rejoice, and see and tell others about this new thing that God is doing. It's time to allow him to work in your life to prepare you for the new thing that he wants to do in your life. So what about us today, in these days that we are facing? Well, perhaps, as I've suggested, for many people, now is a time to fast and to pray. Perhaps now is a time to really focus on our prayers to God and crying out to Him for our world and for our land. Perhaps it's been that time for a while. Perhaps it's time to stop depending on things that only satisfy us for a short time. Food only satisfies your belly for a short time, and then a few hours later, you're hungry again. And we have a tendency to depend on maybe not food, but certainly on material things that will never satisfy us. Some of those things are good, they're God's good gifts to us, but whenever we start to depend on them to satisfy us, we depend on them as God things instead of good things. And they can never do the job that we ask them to do. Maybe it's time to stop depending on those things and start looking to God. Maybe it's time to stop using those things as ways to comfort us and start looking to God to be our comfort and our strength and our guide. Maybe now is the time as well, in the midst of times that are difficult, in the midst of times that are sorrowful, to ask, what is the new thing God is going to do? What is the new thing He's going to do when all this is over? What's the new thing He's going to do in you, in me? What's the new thing He's going to do in church? What is the new thing God is at work on right now? And as you pray and as you fast, ask Him to renew you so that you're open to Him and to His calling. Ask Him to use this time as a time to restore you and refresh you and build you up so that you're ready for what He wants to do next, and you're ready to join Him in that task, so that you're ready to respond to His calling on your lives and in our church. Take this time to pray, and if you want, take this time to fast. Take this time to ask God to renew you and refresh you, and make you ready to see what He is going to do next. God bless.